Do you plan to do anything now?
Okay, but anyways, so I digress. I'm gonna share this stream and then I'm fucking gone. All right? Okay. So where am I straw at? We're in the closet this time, guys, for today's video. So I have a story to tell, and I'm just gonna explain the story. All right. This is basically it goes in line with my experience with this game. So Professor Layton and the case of the Curious Village. So I remember about a night or two ago, I was finding video games to play because you guys know me, no matter what, emulated experiences on DS, N64, Super Nintendo, NES, you name the console, I'll give it a whirl. All right, it doesn't have to be Nintendo centric, but it kind of ends up being Nintendo centric since I love Nintendo to death. Go figure, right? Usually I'd be wearing my other hat. Now it just looks awkward whenever I wear this one and this shit. But anyways, I digress. So, I decided 2 days ago to give this game a shot because I wanted to change my gaming taste. I wanted to go on a new type of gaming journey. I wanted to get rid of the idea in my head that puzzles fucking suck. Alright, and how was I going to do that? I was going to do that with my boy Professor Layton, since I don't know why. I kind of was drawn to him way back in 2017 when I first saw one of his games for the Nintendo Switch get announced or shown off, right? It was him and his top hat like doing like this, like, hey, carry on there, folks, type shit. And I remember I was kind of memorized by that. And for a long time, I didn't really think about Professor Layton after that. I just saw his reveal, and that was that. But it came back to my mind when I saw him again. I was like, Professor Layton, why does that sound somewhat fucking familiar? Why does that sound familiar to me? I found out, he has a Switch game, and I was like, okay, you know what? Before I play the Switch game, I want to try playing the DS game, the first video game in his franchise, aka Professor Layton and the Curious Village. And I got into the game. It's a puzzle game. It's not a platformer. It's not anything. And I wanted to get rid of the idea that puzzles suck in my head. Because as a kid, and me growing up all these years, I really hate the idea of puzzles or doing anything that involves a puzzle. I see puzzle, I'm sitting there dumbfounded like, you really interrupted my platforming for a damn puzzle? You can go fuck yourself. I want to get rid of that mentality, and since I'm trying to change myself on a regular basis, I decided to try the game out. And, oh boy. If you read the title, you would know how agonizing my experience with this game was. I got into it, I liked puzzles. Or I don't like puzzles, but I got into it knowing that I hate puzzles and trying to get rid of my idea of puzzles. But I gotta remember something major, guys. Whoever watches this, I know probably no one's gonna watch this, but I have to remember this. I'm fucking retarded. So the puzzles that they were trying to showcase to me when going through this game were not only a bit much, but very hard to figure out, since I don't have a big enough brain to play the damn game and figure around stuff. Like, for example, I was doing this puzzle where I have to make sure I have this raft. I think it was puzzle number 9. I can't remember which puzzle it was anymore, since I'm not even gonna attempt to play the game. My ribcage just hurt talking about it. My chest feels like it's about to explode. It always does. I'm so used to the feeling now. So you have 3 chickens and 3 wolves. You have to make all of the animals reach the cross to the opposite side. Right? And basically, if you leave more wolves than chickens on one of the sides, the wolves will eat the chicken. How the fuck are you going to make them all go across? Yeah, this one puzzle right here, this shit took me over a day to finish. One time. I was sitting there for hours looking like a dumb fuck trying to figure out, hey, how do I move these wolves and these chickens without leaving too many wolves on one side so the chicken gets eaten? And I remember I was on that puzzle for a long time until I eventually figured it out. And obviously I'm playing this game through emulation, and obviously I could look up a fucking easy way to figure out a puzzle through a YouTube video, but it isn't that easy, right? I mean, obviously, and the hints in this game, they fucking suck. They don't even give me an idea, and you have 3 hints, like, per puzzle, and I'm like, dude, I'm not figuring this shit out, even with these 3 hints that they give. I'm not even gonna lie, my brain isn't fucking clicking. I'm sitting there trying to my best to figure what the fuck is going on right in front of me, and I am not figuring shit out, right? And then there's this other puzzle with a dog, right? Keep in mind, this dog is fucking weird, right? This dog was minding his own business. This is another puzzle. I can't remember the puzzle name. I think it was puzzle 10, maybe puzzle 12. I can't fucking remember because I don't remember what puzzle it was. Anyways, so this puzzle is basically where a dog was minding its own business. It gets ran over by a car. I know, out of context, you're probably wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyways, the dog gets run over by a car. You have to figure out, it's a fucked up thing to think about, but you have to figure out how the dog actually looks after it got ran the fuck over. What the fuck? I'm sitting there.
What kind of a dumbass question is that? What the fuck?
Trying to figure out how the dog would look like, because keep in mind, it's a flat image. So the dog, right, that I'm trying to figure out right here, it's flat, right? The image is flat. The dog is standing there, right? Dog is flat. You're sitting there trying to wonder what the fuck's up with the dog, right? And apparently, instead of laying it flat, right, with it standing, its nose, and its stick figure-like arms. Basically, you have to make a dead dog out of matches. Right? I don't know what the fuck. And I remember I spent so much time on this puzzle that I remember I looked it up, and apparently you have to put 2 of its 4 legs above the other 2 sticks of matches to make it lay completely flat on all 4s after it got ran over. And I'm like, I seriously have no idea how I was going to figure that out on my own. I literally looked up a guide on that one. And continuing on, you know, I was sitting there again, realizing I have made an awful mistake trying to play this fucking game. Alright, this game made me look like a jackass in less than 10 seconds flat. I mean, you got me sitting here like, really looking like a jackass, trying to solve these puzzles, you know, and me, the idea of me, right, thank you for liking, appreciate that, the idea of me sitting there and actually figuring out how these puzzles works, or how these puzzles work, how to beat the fucking game, you know, and just... I really look like an idiot, you know, trying to combat this because I forgot how I graduated school at a 4th grade mindset. I mean, what made me think, you know, someone like me could figure out a game like Professor Layton, you know, a puzzle game designed for people that can rack their brains around for a while and sit there and figure out how to solve these puzzles. And that's the entire game, by the way. That's the entire game's premise. That's how that franchise is/started. So the fact that I wanted to even get rid of the idea that I would hate puzzles, even though it's like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm a fucking dumbass for even trying to even get rid of that mentality. Wow, I'm so fucking stupid trying to get rid of that. It's like, man, you know, me trying to change and improve myself is for fucking morons who believe in 2023 or 2024, the year of this. You can change ourselves. It's like, well, fuck me right down under, Professor Layton. You know, it's like, I can't solve your fucking puzzles even with the 3 hints you give me. So what the fuck? And then there were some other puzzles that I tried to do that were a little better or a little worse than this. But my mentality trying to figure these things out. Just never wrapped around the idea of just solving harder and harder puzzles. Also, welcome Lucas to the stream. I don't know. To me, this game made me look like a fool. And not only the game made me look like a fool, but I fooled myself into thinking playing something puzzle-based, entirely puzzle-based, was a phenomenal idea. Just trying to give the game a chance. What? Is there a bug in there? There was a bug on there. Well, what? I have food right here. But I'm just so pissed that I would even bother to try to improve my brain when my brain doesn't really improve all that fast or doesn't really think in the way Professor Layton is making me think. And I know it's not the game's fault, it's more on me for trying to make myself believe that this could be an enjoyable experience, but I'm gonna be so real. Professor Layton is for a specific few that can endure or mentally go for these puzzles without having a fucking aneurysm trying to figure these puzzles out. Because every time I try to use my brain to rack it and do a puzzle or some type of thing, I look at myself and call myself a retard for not trying to figure that out. It's like, god damn, dude. Way to go, Alan, making yourself look even worse as a person that's I don't know. It just reminds me 24/7 or constantly like, dude, you can barely play the platformers you get yourself into, and you think you can handle Professor Layton in his video games? What a fucking loser mentality idea did you give yourself on that? Fucking loser, oh my god. And I know this my experience is pretty much look down on yourself, Alan, because you suck at puzzle games, but it's like, dude, truthfully, this is just how I fucking feel, man, about Professor Layton or about me getting into the fucking series. It's just not it for me, man. Maybe y'all should give it a try. Maybe y'all would last way longer than I would with Professor Layton and shit. Anyways, I'm fucking gone. Fuck this goddamn game. It's a mistake getting into it, and I might make a video on Brain Age one day, but that's also a fucking mistake. Me trying to get smarter is fucking retarded outside of my own life experience and what happens out there. That's how I'm gonna get smart. Not by figuring out how to fucking move a fucking lighter match or figure out how to move this to solve the puzzle correctly. Fuck solving puzzles correctly, and fuck Professor Layton, and screw me for trying to get into it, man. Like, fuck this damn stupid-ass puzzle series that I thought would be a good idea to get into. Holy fuck, I'm pissed.